So first off, a blood spatter expert. What exactly is it? Many of us have never heard that term before.
Well, blood spatter expert is kind of an archaic term. Now we refer to it as blood stain pattern analysis. And what a blood stain pattern analyst does is we go into the scene, we'll look at photographs, we'll look at, we may actually go to the scene and see the actual blood stains. And what we'll do is we'll apply principles of physics, fluid dynamics, mathematics, and physiology to try and determine what we can about those patterns and perhaps how they were deposited. It may be a qualitative as well as a quantitative analysis, and it may be important to determine where blood stains are found and where they're not found. And all this helps us kind of put things together in terms of determining the circumstances or reconstructing various aspects of the crime itself.
So my question here, what key details might an expert like this be able to help reveal? You touched on this, but why is it important to have a, I'm using the archaic term here, but blood spatter expert?
The reason you want to call in a blood stain pattern analyst is to look at the stains that are found and see if the various mechanisms as to how those stains were deposited can be determined. For instance, there's going to be a difference between a spatter stain, which would be stain where energy is applied to blood and the blood actually flies and deposits on a surface, as opposed to a transfer stain, which may be something where someone came in contact with a bloody object and then transferred that blood stain onto another object. And that may be a key factor in determining whether a person's story is credible or not as to what they actually did at that scene.
Are these experts used in trials very often?
They're used fairly regularly. I don't know how often. I myself, I've testified in about 240 cases, and maybe about 20 to 30 of them have involved blood stain pattern analysis. So it's not super common, I guess, but it can be used in applicable cases where some determinations may be helpful to either the prosecution or the defense.
And when you're talking about a case like this one with Alex Murdaugh, can an expert like that determine whether blood was on the suspect's shirt from murdering someone or helping to render first aid? Is there a way to tell the difference?
Well, you really can't tell, again, if it's from someone murdering someone or if it can be from rendering aid. I mean, you would have to look at the stains and evaluate those and see what the possible mechanisms were that that those stains could have been deposited onto that surface or onto that item that's being examined. And that would be about the extent of what we can say. Like, for instance, this blood had to been had to been spatter blood, so it had energy behind it. It was deposited on the surface. Now that could be consistent with someone, who's perhaps someone's expirating blood. They may be able to deposit that type of blood, or it could be from someone being in the vicinity of someone when they're being shot as well. So again, we have to look at the totality of the stains, all the different stains we find, and see again if we can see if there are any mechanisms that we can rule out as having caused those stains or mechanisms that we can rule in for having caused those stains.
Do you think experts like this should be used more often and will be used more often in trials like this one that are so high profile?
Well, this type of analysis has been going on for years. In the United States, probably going back to the 1950s. Blood stain pattern analysis goes back to the late 1800s. So I don't see that there's going to be maybe an increase in use, but each case has to be looked at and evaluated to determine, is the blood stain pattern analysis going to be useful in this case or not?
All right, George Schiro, thanks for taking the time to talk to us here. A lot of great information that a lot of us just didn't know. Is there anything else you want to add about all of this before I let you go?
No, like I said, I think you covered it pretty well. And again, we'll have to see how this trial plays out and see what the experts have to say, look at the documentation they're going to provide, and see, what type of mechanisms may or may not have caused these particular blood stain patterns.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.